By the way, Andrew, for your
Yeah.
information, here in North Carolina, it's pouring with rain and really crappy weather. So to have you there on the beach with the blue skies makes
We are
the
live. We
good.
are
We are live.
live.
Well, we're discussing weather, which is very, very appropriate. Thank you. We are live on Workplace EXP Family Tree. Good morning, and good afternoon from Pamela, myself, and special guest Andrew. So we always try to start kicking this off with a success story, a failure, or a challenge from the week. But before we do that, Andrew, very quick, giving you the floor. You have a fantastic wall behind you. You have the ocean right next to you.
I know.
Welcome. Can you tell us a bit about you, who you are, and how you live in such a serene backdrop there?
Absolutely. So I am Andrew Nichols. I'm CEO and co-founder of EyeSpy 360. We are a virtual tour platform. We're one of the partners of eXp. This lovely scenery behind me, I wish that's sort of where I lived. It's not, unfortunately. It sounds like it's very similar to Carolina. It's raining out and cloudy right now. But yeah, it's lovely. So we are, as I said, virtual tour solution to eXp. We provide traditional photography, drones, twilight images, everything you need. We can pretty much do it. We have a number of different features as an organization. In addition to virtual tours, you can do pre-recorded tours. You can do live videos, very similar to what we're doing now, embedded inside the virtual tours. So you can do collaborative viewings with people remotely. We've just actually launched a new product last week, which was announced at eXp, but we're going to show you a little more about that, which is our multilingual AI avatars, which is part of a kind of much bigger picture. But generally, AI is kind of the hot topic at the moment. So not necessarily jumping on the bandwagon, but something we've been working on for about 12 months. And hopefully you'll like it, think it's pretty cool.
Thank you. We're going to dive into that in a lot more detail. I know a lot of this is new for Pamela, so I love getting a live reaction, and fresh coming from EXP's Las Vegas insanity of the convention last week. Those of us who went are probably back with a new rejuvenated outlook and excited. So with that, Pamela, you success story challenge from literally this past week or 2 weeks since we had the last show.
Okay. I will go success story. Success story. I was able to get a realtor who was so scared of doing videos to actually do a couple videos this week herself and edit him and put him out there on her social media platform. So I think that's a huge win. She was like, no, 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 but it took some time for her to get comfortable in doing it. So I thought that, that's a huge win. It's so hard for us to actually take that phone and put it up to our face and talk about what we're doing, you know but she was able to do it and put some content out there for her clients or customers about real estate, what's going on with the real estate market, and just going from wanting it to be perfect to just doing it and saying, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And she just did it. And so I was very proud of her for doing that.
Which is
Yes.
great. Does she have, that is great. Taking action, just doing it and getting over yourself is the hardest part of any of it. Does she have a plan of doing a follow-up or a second or a process in place from number one to infinity and beyond?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're we've got like a weekly plan going on, as far as content, what to put out there, and just keep doing it. And that's kind of what I'm doing with her, is just getting her comfortable to be consistent with doing it. Because if you do one and you actually, don't do it for a week or two, then all of a sudden you're starting right back where you were with that scare factor. It's like,
Absolutely.
again, so being comfortable and just keeping it consistent is, I think, a big key with it.
Yeah, no, I
Right?
think that's massive. Kudos to you. Kudos to her as well. For me, it was the convention itself. I go very intentional for a few reasons. I got to host a global panel workshop about technology and had two icon agents. First ever one in Australia, one of my friends and partners in the UK, one of the top selling agents here at EXP globally. And we got to share their blueprint to success of sales, also double it a little bit with revenue share. And I got to also share some AI tools and tech, which I think are out of this world, including Andrew's here as well. And I think it was very, very well received. So I think just opening people's eyes to the way of the future, which, as Andrew will elaborate to a little bit, which is also the way of now, I think is very, very important. And what about you, sir? Any particular success stories from your end, from the company end, or challenges the last week or so?
There's been some successes, but to be honest, I can't talk about them because we're under NDA. So I can't really say anything about them right now. But what we are seeing is that there's, I think just generally prop tech is being taken a little more seriously than it probably was last year. And I think a lot of it's down to, globally cost of living, people just not having necessarily they're tightening their purse strings, basically, in many different ways. People are moving to geographically to longer areas. They're moving, maybe to another state, to another city. That's having, a hindrance on how people are just, viewing properties right now. So I think because of a lot of factors that are going on, we're seeing successes because we're seeing more interest fundamentally. Any bad things? Just people still being away on holiday, not getting back to my emails, to be honest.
Good for them though. Bad for you. Good for them. I mean, it works
Exactly.
both ways.
Good luck to them.
So it's funny. I've been using your product when I was more in sales full on. I used it for every listing I had, and I was a big fan. I was converted. So from using, I guess it would say, a competitor prior. So do you want to, again, open floor to you a little bit here, just about more detailed? Feel free to share your screen a little bit about what the product is, how it can help agents, and how they can generate more business from it, and the existing business, and kind of amplify the eyeballs digitally and everything else.
Yeah. So let me, yeah, no, absolutely. Let me just go back to sharing my screen. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
All good. So just very briefly, I mean, I'll touch on EyeSpy 360. This is our webpage. If we just scroll down, just go, this is the fundamental part of the product, the virtual tour itself, the 3D model, floor plan. Very simply, the way that works, there's loads of 360 cameras on the market. It's probably about 50. There's about 8 that we recommend. Agents can go out, buy these cameras pretty easily on, whether it's Amazon, etc. They start for about $200 upwards. You capture one picture per room, you upload it through our app to our platform. Our platform then creates very similar to this, like the 3D model you're seeing. If I zoom in, you can see the measurements as well. We capture the measurements from all the room. If we want to just jump into this particular room here, we click on that, we're in that room. And it just allows people to look around the property. There's lots of bells and whistles around that. It also creates a floor plan as well, which you can download and use that on listings. You can do remote viewings with people. So if I just scroll down here, you can see this as an example where you've got 3 people in the top left, buyers, for example, and in the bottom right, the agent, and you can walk people around and talk to them. Lots of other functionality, lead generation, pre-recorded tours, which is actually something I'm going to touch on in a second. Teaser videos, which again, something you get, and that's some 25-second teaser videos, the property, which automatically adds all your contact details, telephone number, etc. That's something you can upload to social media. We do virtual staging as well. So you can see empty room, we can digitally furnish that room with all different styles. You can add content into the tour, you can blur it. An important factor for a lot of big corporates is the fact that you own the data. So it's a very feature-rich platform. But what I wanted to kind of come on to now as well is the avatar side of things, which we've been working on quite a while now. So what's interesting, Pamela, you were saying before about people doing video and being conscious, self-conscious about recording themselves. And that's something, interestingly, one of the features I just showed you was the ability to record yourself in the tour and walk someone around it. So it's kind of pre-recorded. And we just saw little uptake. And we went out and we spoke to a lot of agents and asked them why, and they were just self-conscious about being on video. Mm-hmm. And we've seen it with a lot of people, however confident people are when they're in person, they're selling to people, which, actually doing something on video is a totally different ballgame for people. So we just thought about how we can potentially overcome that, but also help people, upsell their properties, talk about their properties remotely as well, which is what that product was about. So very early on, we've been keeping an eye on AI and avatars and everything else that's going on right now. I even studied artificial intelligence back at university over 20 years ago. So I've known about it for a very long time, and that was the very early days. But where we are now, it's got to a point where it's an inflection point where it's a reality. So we've leveraged that and we've encompassed this into our product. So essentially, let me just actually move on to one of the screens to show you what this is. So in the bottom right of the screen here, you can see a person. Now that is a real person. So this could be either of you two. You can take a video of yourself, just not live video, just record yourself talking about absolutely anything you want to for 2 minutes. You send us that video, we then create a digital clone of you. And this is a digital clone of a real person. You then give us a script of that property. So you'd be saying what you would want to talk about if you were there in person with someone in the kitchen, in the living room, in the yard, whatever it is, whichever areas of the property what you want to talk about. We then feed that script into our platform, and that can automatically translate it into any language that you also want it to talk in as well. So we're talking to a lot of companies and agents in Europe, for example, and because of the way the market is right now, it's difficult finding buyers, especially so in Europe. And where you're seeing people now with the cost of living, property prices being really high, you have a lot of people that are willing to move country to another city. So what you're finding is agents are now looking at a much larger catchment area. So people in Spain are looking for people in France and Germany, etc. So that ability to talk different languages is a real selling point for people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut up for a second because I can talk for quite a long time, but I'm actually just going to start showing you around one of these tours, and hopefully the sound should come through. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually change the language. I'm going to show you 3 different examples, one of which is a residential property, one of a smaller apartment, and one of a hotel wedding venue that we did. Now, what it will do, depending on the location, it will automatically change language depending on the browser preferences. But as I said, I'm just going to change that manually. So let's just start with the tour.
Nestled in the prestigious Costa de Blanc and sprawled across an impressive 1,350 square meters area, this architectural marvel. Step into the majestic entrance hall.
So we can change that
right.
to...
Entrate nell'imponente atrio d'ingresso. Alla vostra destra, scoprite un moderno ascensore.
Entrez dans le majestueux hall d'entrée. À votre droite, découvrez un ascenseur moderne desservant.
So
it's multiple languages. So the point I'm bringing up, I guess, what you said before, Pamela, is that people are self-conscious about doing it, recording themselves. What we can actually do, because we can create avatars of anyone, you can exist in the virtual tour and yourself, branding yourself, being yourself, talking about the property, kind of as if you were there, but 24/7, without having that, I guess the innate insecurity of having to talk on a camera, and being a bit self-conscious about it. And the other thing we can do as well, we can actually copy your voice if this is something you want to do, or even use your own voice. So you could actually talk about the property, send that to us, we will feed it into the system, and it will lip sync with that avatar. So it is actually you talking. So either way, we can essentially just create a digital twin of you and implant it into the virtual tour and say whatever you want to about the property. So there's loads of benefits to this. The fact that I said before, it's, you're able to sell 24/7. The fact that it overcomes multiple language barriers as well, which exist in different locations. The fact that you can still have your own branding in it because it's you as an individual. So, it's really important for an agent to use themselves as their branding and promote themselves. And this continues that, just keeps that consistency going as well. So we've done a soft launch with this in Europe. We've seen loads of interest. We've started talking to partners, including eXp in the US, and we're seeing a lot of interest initially as well in this product. So we're very excited about it. We think it's probably one of the best product we've released so far. We're seeing, as I said, lots of interest. We're really excited about the future of it. And just to give you an idea of where we're going with this as well.
Andrew, for 1 minute, Can you stop sharing the screen? Because that was a great demo. I want to keep talking, but I'd love to bring the 3 of us up here because I want to challenge you on a couple of things. But please, carry on. Thank you. Go for it.
Do you want to challenge me first?
No, it's not really a challenge, in fairness. No, you were on a roll and I want you to continue, so please do.
So the only thing I was going to say is to give you a flavor of where this is going over the next 12 to 18 months is we want to make it a bit more interactive. So, where all the information you would have on a listing, i.e. local schools, possibly, I'm talking about the UK market as well, transport links, taxes, etc., etc., etc. These are things we want you to be able to ask the avatar, and it would be you in your voice responding. So it might be you say, where's the nearest train station? Where's the nearest motorway or highway? What are the schools like in this area? What are the taxes? It will respond to you in real time with answers to those questions. So it's really helping you sell at a much faster rate, literally without any downtime. So essentially, as kind of cheesy line, but selling in your sleep, essentially.
So I've got a few questions for you, but first of all, because I'm aware of you, the product, now that was a great demo as well. Thank you. And I think it couldn't be a better time, especially, again, I'm very biased, but coming out of the eXp convention where the whole gist of it was AI and technology empowering agents, which just fits hand in hand for me.
Yeah.
Pamela, no pressure on you because it's the first time you've ever seen this product. What's again, you've been in this industry a good time. what's your initial thought on this? What's your take for it, for you as an agent, for other agents, and what's your general feedback just coming in blind?
I think it's absolutely incredible because you do have a lot of agents out there right now, like Andrew was saying, that's not comfortable with the camera, right? So this is an excellent product. So you can actually duplicate the agent and have them with their voice, which
Mm.
is actually the key also. Because I think, a lot of times with these AI, it's like it looks like, there's a robot walking around. But if you actually capture the voice and the actual real person, then this is excellent. It's excellent. It actually is a very great product for a lot of agents out there scared of being on camera and doing, the walk around. So yes,
I
I
think you're,
completely, yeah,
I mean, I
I'm
feel
for it.
like you're putting the I with the A, right? You're putting you're putting the interaction with the artificial and the intelligence with that and the personality and the thing that always worried me about getting technology or someone to come in and do my social media, removing the psychology and removing the branding. You're actually amplifying it, but doing
Yeah,
something that we can't personally do with enough hours in the day or education of different
yeah,
languages, especially the market. I mean, where you are, Pamela, your market is a bit probably more prone to international exposure and people kind of coming in with its proximity to Washington. But Andrew, talk to me. What for you? Kind of a question out of left field. With your technology and where it's going, where do you feel the biggest advantage is for X, Y, or Z real estate agent in wherever they are here in the US or elsewhere? Where do you feel their number one value is for them and their business, utilizing what you have?
I think it all comes down to just removing waste and becoming more efficient and more productive. Time and time again, we hear, what would make you more commission? At the end of the day, that's what an agent's looking to do. They want to make more commissions and provide a great service. And I think that's what this does. The ability to showcase. I always use this terminology. Picture paints 1,000 words, a virtual tour paints 1,000,000. It gives you more information. You have the younger generation, millennials, who are becoming very dominant and powerful as buyers and renters globally right now. They're used to all of this. They want lots of information. They've grown up with it on their phones and the desktop. So giving them this information as opposed to your standard still images, which only showing you nice wide angle lenses, they look beautiful, but they're limited in what they're showing you. This is that differentiator. And I think giving them that information allows them to make an informed decision. Do they like the property or do they not like it? And that in itself, it might reduce the number of potential leads coming in to that agent in some ways, but it means that leads are better leads. They're not getting someone that they're going to go and do a viewing and probably waste half an hour driving there and back to do the viewing. So it's actually giving you more time back to do the things that are important that could lead to going out and winning the next mandate and the next mandate and the next mandate. So it's about reducing waste. But like you were saying, and I think this is the thing that people have always been very fearful of with AI and prop tech and technology generally, is the fear of it taking something away and not being humanized. And that was something we were very careful of with developing this. And that's why, taking someone's voice, taking the visuals, actually what they look like, and actually recreating them digitally, as opposed to having something that was very robotic that didn't look real, it dehumanizes the experience. And I think that's very important, and very important as part of the branding too.
Very much so. I'm signing myself as a scapegoat up for an idea here that I've had that I'll share with you later on after the call. Pamela, any kind of questions or thoughts you have with this? Because I think, and I've been using the product for a few years as it is anyway, pre all of this, but now things have expedited so quickly. I'm an author and it took me about 60 seconds to write it. So there's always something there to be had. But I think, and that's been a big selling point as well, honestly, how you say that. It's you may have less showings, less leads coming through the door, but they're qualified. Who doesn't want that? As opposed to waste your time with 20. If you have 7 that come through the door, but 7 are qualified, you're saving time and everything in the back end, also in the front end. So it's a better for the client, better for you, and better experience for everybody. Please, Pamela, after you.
Oh, I think that's excellent, Andrew. That's, it's definitely a product that's needed, right? So let's say you have an agent, a brand new agent that's actually thinking about doing this for you.
Yeah.
What would your advice be first? To, contact you, but do they need to do a walk around the property, talk about the property as they walk around the property, give you the description of the property, and then you put it all together? Is that right?
So right now we're going to be building a deeper integration into the platform to make it more of a self-service system. At the moment, it's kind of a service that we offer. We do it for you. I'll explain what that looks like from a workflow perspective. But as I said, we're going to make it more self-service. But it's about the workflow, making the workflow as easy as possible for the agent, and to just minimize the amount of effort and work that they need to do. Because again, it boils back to letting them do what they need to do and what they're best at, not using a computer system. So right now, we have on our website, we've just launched a new page. They go to it, they fill in the form. We will get in touch with them, walk them through everything. But the fundamentals are they would need to create a 2-minute video, send us that video. We would then create the digital avatar of themselves as well. And when they have a property, they would let us know the script of, the script for the living room, the script for whichever rooms and areas of the property they want to talk to. Give us that script. We do everything else for them. What we want to get to within the next few months is that you log into our platform, you click on record, you record yourself through the webcam, for example, and most people have those now. That then within 4 days creates the digital avatar, and you might want to have different avatars. And it might be that you have a brokerage and you've got different agents, and someone else is administering that. You want to choose which agent it is. You'll click on that, and then you'll click record, and you will talk about the living room. You'll click on another room, kitchen. You'll talk about the kitchen. That will then digitize it within the avatar, and you can choose what languages you want. And then, hey, presto, everything's built for you. That's what the next stage is. The first stage is a little bit more manual, but still pretty easy. But most manual efforts on our side.
Well, that's incredible. That's
It
incredible.
is. There's a lot, and without breaking down the specifics, because every situation is going to be unique to the individual and all of that. I mean, is there a, and I don't even want to necessarily get into costs because it's going to be very different depending on the circumstance. And I think where I'm going with it in my mind is exactly what you just said, about having a potential brokerage or a team leader with agents as well, and kind of introducing that overall. So how does one, I'm sure it is kind of a customized process, much like when I was using the one-by-one interactive, virtual tours, but for a monetary understanding, or just from a concept overall, is there kind of a broad statement that you can make that, hey, this is what we do? And also, as a side note, when it comes to actually recording that video for the best use of what that individual avatar is going to look like, is it like anything, the better quality video you have, the better it will kind of translate from your end as well?
So yeah, I mean, the better quality video it is, the better the image quality of the avatar as well. I mean, most people have got a decent phone right now, and most of those phones have decent cameras on them. I don't know any that don't record in 4K right now, as long as you have it on the right settings. So we will be having a best practice guide, just to say, if you're using this phone, make sure it's on these settings and these settings, just to make sure the image quality is as high as it should be. But it's just it's as simple as making sure that your phone is steady. Holding it, I don't know whether you can see, but holding it in your face like that and wiggling around is probably not going to work. But just having it at your desk using your webcam, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter what device you're using, as long as it's in good enough quality. And as I said, most webcams and most phones now, I don't know any that wouldn't be good enough.
Okay. And then from a kind of cost perspective, how is that? Is it kind of one size fits all? Does it depend on the narrative and what's needed? Just so someone has a ballpark idea of the investment they'll have to make, which I strongly recommend, but in themselves and in the product.
So there's going to be two elements to the avatar, initially anyway, in phase one of which is the choice of avatar, because you can use an existing avatar from our stock library if you want. We're seeing preference towards people personalizing it and doing it themselves. That's going to be the lower cost option. And then there's a higher cost option, which is going to be where you record it yourself. To give you some ballpark figures, the stock library one's going to be about $150. The do-it-yourself avatar is going to be about sort of $399, and that's for a year license. So that's you can use that as many times as you want. That's to create and host the avatar. And then there would be an additional cost beyond what the standard virtual tour is, but that would include the avatar. Where there's going to be some differentiators in price would be how long the script is. We generally suggest about 7 to 10 seconds per area, because people start turning off after that as well. But obviously you can be as long as you want. So if you're doing a bigger property, there's going to be more script, there's going to be more cost to it, and more how many languages you want as well. So that if you do an additional language, there's additional cost to that. But again, it's negligible, but we're going to be putting that all live on our website as well.
That makes perfect sense. And I think ballpark, just for people to understand, that's massive. And I love, again, speaking outside, the idea of that 1 year license, because if you're a listing agent, or if you're good agent, full stop. You know you're going to be having X amount of listings a year or however long. So you do that up front. The concept is to do that up front, probably have one or two that you'd integrate with that day one or very soon. And then 365 days on, you have that. And then come year two, kind of see where you go from there. As I'm sure the product will evolve as well. And I'm sure you already have some ideas in place. Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
And I think at a brokerage level as well, you know, if they say, well, we've got 20 agents, 30 agents, whatever, we want to do avatars for all of them, obviously there will be economies of scale and discounts allocated. And one of the other things I think we're going to be looking at based on feedback so far is a light version. And what I mean by light version is an introductory avatar, which would be as you start, and this is something that would probably be just part of the original cost of the virtual tour. But as you walk around, it will be you saying, hey, welcome to eXp or whatever your brand's going to be. Let me show you around the property. And it's literally, that's what that is as well. But it's you on the face of it without talking about the rooms, but just a welcome message.
Which I'm a firm believer, you know, there's a lot of people using video now, but for me, it's all about doing the, I say, lifestyle videos, which at a bare minimum is that. So I think that's very important to have that integrated into that. Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Pamela, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Because I have one last question for you, and I'm conscious of time as well. But any thoughts or questions from your end?
No, this is excellent. I love the product, and I love, I love what you're doing. So this is great. I mean, it's definitely needed, right? Because as realtors, we're so afraid of the camera, it's like, so the ones that are afraid of the camera are not doing it. So this is absolutely incredible. Yeah, I love the product that you're, doing right now.
I'm glad.
Put us out there. Yeah, this is
that's
great.
The thing. Even those who like the camera or are not afraid of it, I think the value just kind of extends that brand and that offering going forward as well. So 2 last questions. I want to leave it with you, Andrew, as well. But first question is, you obviously have this product out. You've had your products out for a while as well. What is the overriding, the number 1 or 2 biggest things of feedback you're getting from existing clients who are using this technology and your platform as well?
So feedback we're getting from consistent users of the platform is it's saving them money. It's saving them money, it's reducing waste, and it's making them more efficient. They are the 3 things we hear when people are doing consistently. Where we see difficulties getting people over the line doing it in the first place, because again, that fear of technology, thinking it's going to replace them, or it's just they don't understand it. It's really simple to use, it's really simple to do, and it's proven it makes you a better agent. It's on the basis of it just makes you more productive. It does. It's proven, the stats are there.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. I'm converted. I'm in. All right. So because we are on the half hour, which is all we have, I'm conscious of everybody's time. Final words with you, Andrew. Twofold, I guess, from the eXp perspective and from those who are watching this who are not with eXp. What is the best way that they can get in touch with you, learn more? What would you like to plug of that best way of communication?
Best way to get in touch with us is if you go to www.eyespy360.com/EXP. And you'll find everything you need to know about our existing product, our AI product, our telephone numbers, our email addresses, live chat. We also have our own group on Workplace as well, so you can join that and get in touch with us that way.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, thank you. I think this would be very beneficial. I'm a fan publicly, and I've privately said it before. I'm a fan. I'm going to continue using it. So thank you for joining us today, and we will keep that conversation going. And as things evolve in the product as well, hopefully we can get you back on and kind of share it here.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for hosting me.
Website. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.